One question that came up was about how to pray, and also about faith, and how do you hear God. So I want to just focus on that for a bit. In our church tradition, there are many different ways to pray. There is contemplative prayer, charismatic prayer. Of course, we have our traditional prayers, the Rosary and the Our Father, Hail Mary, those prayers. So there's no one, definitive way to pray. There are many different ways. But a very simple way that I tell people to pray is that when you pray, it should have three parts. And I always say you remember it by saying, thank you, Lord, forgive me, Lord, and help me, Lord. Three really important aspects of prayer. Firstly, we begin by thanks. And that's an important principle because you don't want to just start by saying, okay, Lord, just give me everything that I want. You start by saying, Lord, I recognize that everything that I've got is from you. Every good gift I have, I want to thank you for. And so we begin there. We also recognize, of course, that we're in need of God's mercy and forgiveness. And so we ask for forgiveness for the things that we've done. A really great way to do that is perhaps to review the day. We'll talk about an examination of conscience, thinking of our day or the day before and asking God for forgiveness for ways that we've acted or spoken that might be sinful. And then finally we say, Lord, help me. Help me with the things that I need, and we can be specific about that. So great ways to pray. But there was another question about how do you hear God? You hear some of the saints talk about hearing from God and going and following Him. And at least one person said, I've never heard God. I don't know what that means. Just like prayer, there are many ways to hear God. There are some people, and I believe this, I believe there are some people in the history of our church, and even today, who actually hear God as like an audible voice. But I think that's very few people. But I also believe that God speaks to us, and often we don't hear Him. And so part of that's important for us to do is to create space in our life so that we can hear God. So taking times of silence. One thing that I decided to do a few years ago was to stop playing the radio in my car, and because I used to listen to the radio all the time, and it didn't help my driving or my response to other drivers, but it helped me to pray more, and it helped me to contemplate more, and I think on occasion it helped me to hear God. God can also speak to us through other people. I've had many occasions where someone has said something to me in a way that has affected me deeply, and I've really known that was God speaking to me through that person. Of course, the other side of that is true, is that we can be vehicles that God can use to speak to others. And so really creating space in our life, if you like, creating silence in our life, gives God the ability to speak to us. Sometimes you might have a thought, sometimes a thought to say to someone, I want to encourage someone. That's God. That's hearing God and acting on that, encouraging another person. That's following God's will. So easy and very simple ways to pray. Thank you, Lord. Forgive me, Lord. Help me, Lord. And creating space in our lives and our silence in our lives so that we can hear God and act on it.